A very good morning, dear students. Welcome to e-learning classes of Sacred Hearts of the subject economics. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we have started the topic poverty and measurement of absolute poverty. In this context, we have discussed about the meaning of poverty line. Thereafter, we have discussed the concept of headcount ratio, or we can say it. We have discussed about the poverty in incidence ratio, and thereafter we have discussed some basic history concept of the poverty line. For example, the very first person to mention the concept of poverty line was Dadabhai Nauroji, and thereafter we have discussed how the poverty line is fixed in India. Thereafter we have discussed about the limitations of poverty line, including no differentiation among poor and the social factors are being ignored. Thereafter, we have discussed the topic extent of poverty in India, in which we have discussed about the different fact and figures. In this, we had made a interstate comparison, out of which we come to know that UP, Bihar, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Manipur, Assam, and Madhya Pradesh are one of the most poor states of the country, and we also come to know about that Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan are the least poor states of the nation. Thereafter, we have discussed about the rural and urban poverty trends. Now, dear students, today we are going to discuss about the concept or the causes of poverty. And in this, we will bifurcate the causes of poverty in reference to underemployment in the Indian economy and on the basis of unequal distribution of income in the economy. So let's get started. The very first is the causes of poverty with reference to the underemployment of the Indian economy. So the very first point is the low level of national product. So dear students, if we talk about uh, our country, that is India, so national product is miserably, that is pathetic, very low as compared to the size of population. As we are having a very large size of population, so the national product must be also the higher one, but due to low level of national product, there is a consequence of low per capita income, and the per capita income of the country falls in the category of one of the poorest countries. This is very strange, and or as it is as per the norms of United Nation organization. So the very first reason is low level of national product. Due to this, the per capita income is also low. The second point, low rate of growth. If we talk about the rate of economic growth in our country, so it is very quite low even in the planning years, 5-year plan years in the India. If we talk about the growth rate of GDP, then it is nearly only around 5%, and in context of that, the population is having the growth rate of 2%. So if we make a complete comparison, so only the per capita income grew by 3% only, because 2% population is increasing, so 2% is compensating over there. So 5 minus 2, only 3% is the increment in the per capita income. The next one is the heavy pressure of population. No doubt population can be considered as one of the most important factor for the poverty in our country, because our population is rising very rapidly, and this rise is mainly due to rapid fall in the death rate. There are some certain reasons that the death rate have been decreased, the medical facilities have been increased, and as a result, overall, what is the consequence? The consequence is this, that the population growth rate has been increased, and the heavy pressure of population adds to the dependency burden. Dependency burden, what is that? One person is earning and 5% are there who are dependent on that, so the dependency ratio is increasing, and as a result, the poverty is getting higher and higher. The next one is the inflationary spiral. As we have discussed that there is low GDP growth in our nation and population rate is very high, so less developed economies or the developing economies like India are highly vulnerable to the situation of inflationary spiral. What is inflationary spiral? We have discussed earlier. It is a situation of persistent rise, that means continuous rise in the price level on the again and again mode, and this ultimately leads to the compounds to the poverty in the country. Now, the fifth point is the chronic unemployment and underemployment. Another reason that is associated with the high amount of population is that India is a country sustaining the chronic unemployment and underemployment. Chronic, that means very serious. Poverty is just a reflection of unemployment. And what is the poverty? Poverty is a reflection of unemployment, and unemployment is a reflection of higher increasing population. If we talk about our country, then till March 2016, 4.35 crore persons of our country are unemployed. In this figure, we are not talking about the underemployment, we are just talking about the unemployment. So the if we extend the add the extent of the underemployment as well, then it is going to be increased definitely. And then next in the last one, that is a capital deficiency. Deficiency means shortage. See over here, capital can be considered as one of the most important factor for the economic growth. We can consider capital as a fuel for the economic growth. But just see over here, accumulation of capital indicates the increase in the production capacity of a nation. If there will be higher amount of capital, then there will be the higher amount of production. High amount of production indicates the higher level of employment and decreased amount of poverty. But the situation is just a vice versa in our country. Now we are going to take the second basis, causes of poverty, with reference to unequal distribution of income. So the poverty can be explained in the context of the unequal distribution of income as well. Although the different efforts have been made by the government to moderate or neutralize the difference between the equality inequality through the progressive taxation system, subsidies and other measures, but still it doesn't seem to be very effective. But despite all such measures, poverty in India has tended to compounded over the time, but still the poverty has increased. Now see, according to a report of 2009-10, the top 20% of population has 53.2% of total income. Only 20% of top people are having more than half of the income, that is a 53.2, and the bottom 40% people are just having only 15.3% of the total income. It shows the disparity, it shows the inequality. And the next one, according to Monopoly Inquiry Commission, 1536, how many? 1536 companies of our country are controlled by just 75 families. This is also showing the monopoly of some certain families, of some certain hands. And the last one, unequal distribution of income is not only reflect the size of existing poverty, but it also points to the possibility of widening the gulf, that is the difference between the rich and the poor in the near future. So this is all about today. Today we have discussed about the different causes of poverty in the context of the underdevelopment, in which low level of national output, low rate of growth, heavy pressure of population, inflationary spiral, unemployment we have discussed, and in the context of poverty, in the context of the unequal distribution of income also we have discussed. This is all for today. God bless you all. Lots of love.